my name's Ericksson from Momentum Academy. In this short video, I'm going to talk about 10 really interesting things you can do with Bubble privacy rules. So I realized something. A lot of people who use Bubble are yet to really understand or use privacy rules, and privacy rules are really important. The first thing you can do with them is use them to secure your data. So without privacy rules, your data types are actually exposed and you risk sharing data inappropriately. So please configure your database properly using privacy rules. That's a bare minimum. The second thing is, I'm a proponent of don't repeat yourself, and I think all programmers should aspire to be as lazy as possible. And what I mean by that is you should look at ways of not repeating work. And so potentially privacy rules could be used to reduce the number of constraints you use in the front end. Now, that means that, if you're confident, you can get away with much less business logic spread all the way throughout your app. The third thing is you can enable auto binding. Now, auto binding is a bit different to using a workflow to save your data. It's when you actually load the data into the inputs and save them without needing to press a button and run a workflow. So you need to use privacy rules to actually enable auto binding on particular data types for particular users. The fourth thing is implementing user roles. So as you build more complicated applications, you might have a two-sided marketplace, you might have a SaaS product, you might have account owners, account users, you might even have a complicated three-sided app where there's different user roles. What you need to do is give each of those user roles the right permission for the right data. So you can use privacy rules as one of the tools to achieve this. Role switching. So what about if the user can switch between roles? You might be an admin and then you might want to have a developer role that you can switch to. So you could even set up privacy rules to enable you to perform role switching. Accounts and multi-tenant applications. So privacy rules can be used to segment your data into row level security, which means you can secure rows of data and tie that to a particular account. So it might be current user account equals A, and then this row account equals A, and you only allow those things to be seen when both of those values match. So that's how we create accounts. Another way you could see that is like a multi-tenant environment where you have different businesses using your same system for their individual business. This is a really powerful data architecture structure, particularly for things like SaaS products, and so privacy rules form a major way of achieving that. Account switching. So what if users can then switch between accounts? What happens if someone signs up for one account but they actually need access to both? So you can not only use privacy rules to create accounts, but you can use them to switch between accounts as well. Soft deletion of data. So you might have heard of the delete workflows, but when you delete something in Bubble, it's gone, so you can't see it again. What you can do instead is flag records as deleted and then use a privacy rule to hide them. This way you preserve the data for later audit or potentially data recovery. Impersonation. This is a pretty cool one. What if one user could actually impersonate another user and see what they want to see? So this is something we can achieve through privacy rules. And lastly, securing your tokens. What if you have data in Bubble that you don't want any user on the front end to see? What if there's API tokens which are sensitive, which you want to only give the back end of your app access to? Well, you can store them in the database and you can use privacy rules to block access to that table. So this was 10 interesting and useful things you can do with privacy rules. If you would like to explore privacy rules more, learn how to do these techniques in your apps, then we have a program, Momentum Academy, where you can learn how to be a Bubble developer end-to-end, how to use all the features of Bubble. So check out momentumacademy.tech, and I hope to meet you and see what you can achieve using Bubble.